What up? What up? At it again. Real Fans Podcast. We're here. Just me. I'm Gabe. That's you, Julian. Julian, say what's up?
That's me. What's up? What's up? I think it's hilarious that pre-show Gabe was perfectly fine, and as soon as I hit record, he starts lagging. But we're gonna keep it rolling. He'll come back eventually. But
I got all my boring members.
Yeah, as long as we can hear your beautiful voice, that's all that matters. But anyways, we'll start off with some NFL news tonight. Tonight's a big night. It seems like this is starting to become a new event for the NFL. It seems like the last one was like the draft. They made this draft this whole spectacle. And now it's like they want something else to kind of fill that void until training camp. And it seems to be the new schedule release show that they do. It's going to be on all broadcasts. They're going to slowly roll out every game of the year. And it seems like the NFL's a new spectacle to kind of make and just keep being talked about. And you know what? They're doing a good job at it, because look at us here today in the middle of May, middle of off season, and we're still talking about the NFL. And so a couple days ago, they announced the international games, who's playing where and when, and they announced a couple big time games later tonight. They're going to drop the whole release. So next week, we're going to go over some of our favorite teams, talk about the over under, how we like them once it all fully drops. As for the games that they announced, we have Thursday Night Football, Week 2, Los Angeles Chargers, Kansas City Chiefs. Also Week 2, Monday Night Football games, Tennessee at Buffalo, Minnesota at Philadelphia. And then Week 4, 5, and 8, we have Minnesota at New Orleans, and that's a London game. And then the next London game is New York Giants at Green Bay, and then it's the Jacksonville Jaguars at Denver. So that's actually kind of interesting.
That's all you want to talk about. You only want to bring this up.
I don't think that's actually correct.
To talk about
real quick. Literally, as I'm reading this, I think something's wrong with this, because it says Jacksonville at Denver. And I know...
Well, I mean, there's got to be a home team. No?
Yeah, Jacksonville should be the home team because they have the thing. So I think that's a mistake. But then the first ever game in Germany, they're playing in Bayern Munich Stadium. Seattle at Tampa Bay. This is going to be the longest road trip for an NFL team. So this is going to be really interesting. I think the German fans are going to be really hyped for that. And then we have going south of the border to Mexico City at Estadio Azteca, Arizona Cardinals at San Francisco. And then to end it all off, what has been announced is we have a game on Christmas Day, and it's a good one. We got Denver at Los Angeles Rams. And that's all that's been announced so far. Obviously, there's leaks and stuff, but we're just going to talk about the games that are officially announced. Gabe, out of that lineup, what do you like the most? What sounds the most interesting to you?
I'm looking at all the games, and maybe, I don't know if you want to pull it up. Can you? Just so we can pull it up so people can see.
Let me see
words, but if we have pictures, it'd be better. Even if it's just our notes.
Let's see here.
Just screen capture the thing. That I'm looking at. Hopefully Dylan can pull up. The most exciting. Here's the thing. Chargers, Kansas City. I feel good game. You definitely have teams at full strength. But I don't think you have teams in a rhythm, right? It takes about 4 games to get a rhythm, because in the preseason these guys are, they're not starting their starters, and expect it to be a good game, a fun game. I feel like it's going to be a game that people are just going to and make it more than what it is. You're going to predict Chargers beat Kansas City, beat Chargers. Are they good enough? They're going to blow it out a week 2 game. Looking at
so we kind of look at it here. I took a screenshot from the Pat McAfee show. Shout out to Pat McAfee show.
Yeah. I like that. Seattle. I think it's interesting. They're going to go to Munich, right? That's Germany.
Yeah.
Or no, that's not Munich. Is not Germany.
Yeah, it's Germany. Yep, it's Germany. Trust me, I know. Bayern Munich.
I mean, so that looks interesting. I mean, it's interesting to me that that's going to. some other. I don't. Seattle expect not to be good this year, so
Yeah, I think
the fact that
they
they're
were.
expanding.
Yeah, I think they were anticipating a Russell Wilson to be there, but man, they're going to get a really unless Tom Brady just puts on a show. I mean, it's Bayern Munich Stadium and it's Munich, Germany, so they're used to seeing a team absolutely dominate another team. So it's not going to be anything new to them.
The rare away for Tampa Bay in Munich. So the only two that I'm actually interested in, only two teams maybe enough. Week 8, Jacksonville at Denver or Denver.
Really? Oh, look at you.
It's kind of to me, but you know what takes the cake? You know what? I'm going to go Arizona, San Francisco, because especially it being in Mexico, I think those two games are the most intriguing. That I don't really care for in general. I'm they're going to do this, especially with a lot of changes.
I thought you were the biggest Jimmy G fan ever.
I don't know what there's. I'm changing my mind. I'm going back. You know what? That Jacksonville game is the most interesting. How of these? I'm changing my mind because I'm thinking about the quarterback situation. Yeah, those two Arizona, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Denver. I'm gonna go Jacksonville. That's pretty interesting. You guys got how many picks you guys get in the draft this year? You had like 4 picks first round. See what kind of young blood they have.
There was 4 in the first 3 rounds. 4 in the first 3 rounds, and then there's some later on rounds. For me, one, not so much the game, but I'm really interested to see them play in Germany for the first time. I could see the German fans like taking to football way more than the English fans. Don't get me wrong, London has been a huge success. Obviously, they're doing more and more games there every year. But I could see the German fans just like eating it up. And who better else to give them the experience of American football than throwing Tom Brady out there on a team who literally can't stop anybody in the Seattle Seahawks. And Tom Brady's just going to carve them up. And yeah, it's not going to be a great game, but like I said, those Munich fans, they're used to seeing a team dominate the region. So I think it's going to be entertaining for them to watch just Tom Brady just put in work. As for like quality games that I actually want to see, I think the Mexico game is going to be really good. Those Mexican games, always pretty crazy games to watch. Those Mexican fans love football. I think it's a little easier connection from them being so close to America and seeing a lot of American football and like probably having a lot of family and stuff that are into American football. So that's going to be crazy. And then we're also hoping that Arizona can repeat what they did the beginning of last season. So I think it should be a good matchup between Arizona and San Francisco. But I think the one that takes the cake for me is Denver at Los Angeles on Christmas Day, the reigning Super Bowl champs. We'll see what they're going to. This is week 16, so this is the second to last week. So obviously, a lot of things might change. We're going based off middle of off season, but a lot of things might change till then. Maybe Denver just ends up imploding on themselves. Los Angeles can't maintain the run that they had last year. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a good game. But on paper, that's the game I'm most excited for. And there's nothing better than a game on a holiday, like a Thanksgiving Day game or a Christmas Day game or New Year's game. Those are always the coolest games to me.
Yeah, it's always Christmas Day. Usually the holidays, your Thanksgivings, your Christmas is usually popular. I wanted to see what the Thanksgiving one's going to be. Usually they have like morning. Yeah, they're like morning night. So we'll
Gabe, real quick question. Let me ask you this.
We're talking more about the NFL. What's up?
Okay, so obviously now with them introducing, yeah, you're lagging a little bit, but now they're introducing Germany as a new country to expand to. Obviously, they're going back to Mexico. I don't think they were in Mexico last year, but they were previously in Mexico before. Mexico's done a couple games. Now 3 games in London, which I think, did they do 3 last year? I know normally they do 2. But 2 in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and then the Jaguar game at Wembley. What other place would you like to see the NFL go? Would you like to see them continue to conquer Europe or go over Europe? or would you like them to keep on going further south down the border and going over into South America, maybe like a Brazil, an Argentina, or would you rather them expand their market to maybe like a Europe where you see such huge success in soccer, where soccer's like, the biggest thing over there?
Some other countries. I mean, Mexico definitely makes sense. How far south they need to go, right? Because you need to figure what's what are viable stadiums to play in. Like they're ready to like have that size of field and to have people like show up. Usually soccer. I don't know. I mean, how does soccer stadiums compare to football stadiums? Like as far as capacity, football have more capacity. Or is it about the same?
Around the
Like
world, yeah,
1,000.
it's about the same. It's about the same around the world. In
It's about the
America,
same.
like MLS stadiums, yeah, they're like 20,000, 25,000. But like in Europe, all those stadiums are 60 or more. Wembley Stadium, where the
Okay.
Jags versus Denver game, that's 80,000. Yeah, and then if you go down to South America, I mean, Brazil hosted the World Cup and the Olympics and stuff. So like they have stadiums that fit. I mean, soccer is a bigger deal down there. So like that's like their big sport, and they build stadiums for those. But yeah, I will say,
The
I
thing about
think
going, yeah.
I was going to say the one quick thing with I just thought about with going to South America is they're going to have opposite seasons. I guess if you're in Brazil, it doesn't matter. That's like really warm as it is. But like say you do like Argentina, it's going to be opposite seasons. So you're going to be going into summer. So maybe it'd be like a weird warm game, but it's a far travel. But the time zones line up. So you could still probably do a 1 o'clock game US time. But I think they're really going to want to go keep on doing Europe because that's bigger purchasing power. Um, I will say I'm surprised they haven't gone back to Toronto, but I think they see that like Canada's not really a place they need to reach. Football's already really big in Canada, but I'm surprised they don't go back to Toronto. But I think Spain would pick up football pretty well. I think seeing like them playing like Madrid or like Barcelona would be really interesting. I don't know if the French or the Italians would take to football as much, um, but I could totally see Spain hosting one. What do you think?
Yeah. If they're already going to London, I assume that, I don't know, it's kind of cool that they're actually going to Germany. Like Easter, you can go. Like you're not gonna have a game like, and I mean some shit like. It's definitely had to be one of those countries that are definitely with like England, like on the UK, right? It's gonna be Portugal, Spain, Italy. It's kind of closer to
Yeah,
the that side of the world. But what about the also they usually have the not the All Star game. They have the Pro Bowl game.
they did. Yeah.
Hawaii. What about a Hawaii game? Send some of the
I
players.
don't.
That'll be a nice
I
destination.
see. I think it would be cool, but my thing with the Hawaii, I don't think I think the NFL feels like they've conquered that, and there's not a whole lot of people there. I think the whole idea what the NFL is trying to do is trying to expand internationally to other countries. And obviously, you see a proven market in that European market where there's higher purchasing power that compares to the United States. Um, and that's why I don't see them like. That's why I said I don't see Canada really, and I don't see like Hawaii because I thought about like Hawaii or something or like Alaska, but they're going to want to keep on going international and where big markets are, big cities, and like big things. It's like it's hard to keep on going east. That's the one hard thing. I think Germany is already kind of pushing it because I want to say it's like a 9 hour flight. I will say too, I think Ireland would be sick. I bet you there'd be some rowdy ass fans in Ireland. I bet you Ireland game would be pretty crazy. But then again, I feel like they are pretty strategic
Well,
with their pick. I think Germany is obviously a perfect to me. I feel like Germany just fits so well. Australia, I think, would handle it really well, but you come with the travel issues, which is it would be too
yeah, but I
much.
was gonna say like if you're gonna go, it's kind of cool for like a West Coast team that's already on the West Coast, like L.A. or Oakland or Oakland, Las Vegas or some kind of West, either Australia, Japan. We have good relations with Japan. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm sure
I think the one thing with the
Olympics.
Yeah, I will say I think the one problem thing about going across the Pacific, like I think Australia would eat up American football. I think it would do really well. I just think it's just too far because I think even going from West Coast to Europe is closer than going to Australia from West Coast. I want to say, but it'd be really, and the time change would be brutal. It would be. I went to Australia, and bro, the time change it takes a while because it's completely opposite. Completely opposite. Europe, you're kind of going ahead in time, and that's basically you waking up a little bit earlier. But yeah, I could see. I bet you they would love to go to Australia, but it'd just be probably a logistical nightmare.
Or I have a preseason game there. Have international preseason games. I don't know how popular they are. I mean, I find it pretty boring, right? Because I think it's mundane. They just 3 series and then they're out. They sit. Why don't you put pregame, the preseason games internationally in other countries that you would never expect? So expand the game. So he's like, hey, look, we had this game. Why don't you watch the season? I don't know.
Here could be something interesting though, because with the new partnership of the NFL and XFL experimenting new things, XFL running opposite of the NFL, maybe you experiment with the XFL trying to do a game out the other side of the world. Maybe that'd still be really hard, but that could be something maybe you could test and like, because if the XFL is going to be like your experimental kind of league and they're just going to be like that league that just tests things, that could be interesting. Could be a thought. The only thing is we have the same thing I was saying, like if you go to South America, you have the opposite seasons. So summertime would be their winter. So you would have to find a way, maybe like. Then again, I don't think it really is that cold in Australia. But either way, I think if they can strategically work things out to get teams over, that'd be awesome. I think they learned the lesson of like trying to just straight up start a league. That's really hard. But maybe down the road they continue to try to do a league. I know there currently is a European like American football league. I don't know how well it's doing. I remember seeing it like they have like the Barcelona Dragons or something like that. But I think obviously they want to use the big brand names to try to reach it, try to do it. And instead of like what they did before, the NFL Europe, where they just like, all right, here's teams and see how it does. Like I think they realized, no, we got to leverage the historic names that we already have. But who knows? NFL is the most profitable league in the world and highest revenue running league in the world. They are very smart people. They will figure it out.
Definitely goes the most viral NFL, even when they're not, teams are just practicing mini camps. Definitely the NFL definitely gets really viral. You know what I mean, Julian?
Yeah. Speaking of viral,
that was a transition. That was a transition right there.
Gabe's favorite quarterback. He's got a signed jersey, signed rookie card, signed football.
NFT.
The big NFT of his favorite quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, just recently, whether it was justified or not, went viral about like I think 2 days ago it was or yesterday of the Miami Dolphins social media team on Instagram posted a video of Tua and Tyreek Hill doing some like routes in their shorts and t-shirts, and Tua lines up for a deep ball and he's getting absolutely roasted by the comments and everybody saying that they had a bad spiral. He underthrew the hell out of Tyreek Hill. What is this going to say about the future of this relationship? Because Tyreek Hill's so fast. To have the arm to throw and lead Tyreek Hill, or is Tyreek Hill always going to have to stop? And people were saying that like in that throw, Tyreek Hill had to stop, turn around, face him, grab the ball, and then keep on going. Gabe, are people overreacting? I already probably know your answer, but are they overreacting?
Absolutely, man. I mean, this is kind of ridiculous. I think it's kind of ridiculous for Dolphins to put out a shit video. Maybe it's not, the best video, the best pass.
You know what this reminds me of too? Like, real quick, I don't know if you remember last year when the Ravens put up that video of Lamar Jackson and like Sammy Watkins throwing a ball, and they put out the worst throw Lamar Jackson had. It was like a wobbly mess. It was like thrown behind him. And Lamar Jackson got absolutely reamed by that because they put up that video, just that ball just like wobbling so hard and thrown behind him and underthrown, and Sammy Watkins catches it. But yeah, it's the same situation.
Nothing about propaganda. It's got to be Kim Jong-un level. Here's the perfect throw, the perfect career. So A, it's ridiculous that they put a ridiculous video.
Doesn't poop.
B, is ridiculous for people to read over. I don't know where from this. Nothing to be
Brian Flores, dude.
It's
Brian Flores hated him.
I don't know why people don't like 202. He's a good kid. Okay, he's a good kid. He's getting stronger. He's just trying to do his thing, trying to be great. Everybody expects him to be great. He's trying to be great, and here you are all on the internet with you see a 13-second clip. Oh, look at this. Come on, guys. Come on. It's practical.
It's honestly, it is hilarious too, because it's like, it is kind of funny, but like,
guys,
because it's like, yeah, as a social media team, you think you'd want to put out like the nicest thing, especially what happened last year with the whole like Lamar Jackson thing. But it's just hilarious. Like, because honestly, I would have watched that and not even thought twice about it. Like, personally, like me, I would have watched that and like kept on going. But like when you see the comments, like everybody's like, "Oh, I can't wait to see the comments for this," and everybody's just roasting him, saying he's got a little noodle arm. It's hilarious. And I've said this from the jump. Tua's never been a strong arm guy. He never has been. I don't think he needs to be. Obviously, Peyton Manning late in his career couldn't throw worth shit, but he still won a Super Bowl. He still had a all-time season with the Broncos that one year with 55 something touchdowns or something ridiculous like that. He doesn't need to throw the deep ball. It's not his specialty. But the players that the Dolphins have, they have speed, they have shifty players. He just needs to good enough. He just needs to throw good enough. So I think it is a little crazy that people are like overreacting, but I do think it's hilarious because it's like this man just when you think he's about to catch a break, he just gets streamed again. Like it's just so funny to me. It's just so funny to me, and it kind of falls in line with the way I've always thought about him. Is like I just always thought he was just kind of a weak armed guy. But it's just hilarious how like it's like all over Fox Sports and like CBS Sports and ESPN and like all over the place talking about this underthrown ball. And the dude's like, "Fuck, man, it was just like one throw. Maybe it was just a bad throw. Like, who knows? Like,
I mean, like I said, it's kind of ridiculous for them to be like everybody going up in arms. Like, come on, guys, calm down." In college, I never expected. Was always a problem with the ball anyways. I didn't think he was like this bullets out here. He's very precise. But it looked a little, looked like whatever, man. Y'all chill. Give me your quarterback. I'm gonna bookmark all these people, and we'll see where they're at in their drills and their quarterbacks. Everybody chill. Everybody calm down. This is classic internet trolling. Hey, I'm gonna have to give my hottest jokes off. Y'all, come on, guys, come on. Leave Tua alone. Leave Tua alone. He's a Christian.
Gabe, let me ask you this: what would it take for you to get off the Tua hype train? Is this your final season? Like, is this your last straw? Like, if he doesn't perform this year, like, are you done? Like, what would it take for you to be like, all right, I'm ready to move on?
In games, right? It's not. I think he's an above average player. Do I think he's a superstar? Do I think he's a quarterback in the league? I don't think so. But I think he can be decent than Ryan Tannehill did. think he's an above average player, and I still haven't seen from him is a consistent season. A season where he's productive throughout the entire spots. We've seen flashes. We've seen like, oh look, he had a good game here. Oh, he would see consistency. There's over a consistent season, productive numbers, above average numbers that we can say, oh look, we gave him all the tools and all the tools that we gave him. If not, then I'd be like, well, we're going to what, year 3, year 4 with him. At some point, you have to grow.
I think year 3.
Yeah. Year 3. Yeah. At some point, you give him 3 years. And I understand there's injuries in there, and you weren't started. And we had the Fitzpatrick experiment. Brissett was in there for a little bit.
The GOAT.
So now and be productive. That's all I want to see. And up and shipped off of one 13-second video.
But is this a make or break season for you though? Is this a make or break season? Like if he doesn't show out, I think
it's for Tua, it's not for me. Like,
oh, you think it is for Tua, but you would still give him more time even if he doesn't have a great season this year.
Yeah, because is there? It's not like they had a high draft. The draft that we used to pick was the draft.
But some kid with the way quarterbacks are moving,
7 or something.
I'll say with the way quarterbacks are moving in the NFL nowadays, next offseason might be just as crazy as this past one. And Miami's a really attractive place to go. No state income tax. It's a vibing city. Shit's always happening. Like, I think you can find Tom Brady. Is Brady? You sub out Tua for Brady? I was like,
no.
But, anyways,
if it didn't happen, then it's not gonna happen.
Dude, they dropped the ball. You can blame Brian Flores for dropping the ball on the Brady thing. Stephen Ross had it set up.
But whatever.
And a year later, he's gone. All right, sticking it to that. I guess that same area. This past weekend, Miami hosted its first ever Formula One Grand Prix. It was a crazy event, 85,000 people. There was watch parties all over the city. It was like the closest thing I could replicate it to was a feeling of like a Super Bowl, like how there was just events everywhere and this whole thing leading up to it, all these promotional videos, everything. It was great. It literally felt like the Super Bowl. And I think they even anticipated it to eclipse more revenue than Super Bowl weekend. I'm not sure if it did. Might have. I have to go back and check and see if that actually happened. But I know they were anticipating it across the 2 counties. But yeah, it was a crazy event. And from all accounts, it seems like it was a success from a business standpoint. I know some diehard Formula One fans didn't like the race or they found it boring. But you can't really control that. I mean, sometimes that stuff just happens. And I will say that this event kind of made me a Formula One fan. Like I always kind of knew about Formula One. I didn't really know much about it. I've seen glimpses here or there. We don't really get it on national television. Very often, if at all. This Miami one happened to be on national television, which was a shit show, by the way. I don't know if you saw the highlights of the reporter mistaking that Duke player. No, the college player who's prospected to be who's going to be prospected to be the number 1 draft pick this year. Yeah, perspective for Patrick Mahomes. But man, it wasn't even just that. It was that was the one that got the cake, but just the way he was trying to talk, it was just a shit show. Yeah, I could tell from already ESPN hated it. I know next year ESPN is going to get their own crew out there, their own thing. I didn't understand. I get that Martin Brundle is a big name in Sky Sports. He's a big name reporter. But the problem is over here, we don't get Sky Sports. We don't know who that is. So him trying to talk to the Williams sisters and all these other guys, they had all these other celebrities that they're trying to interview. It was just they didn't know who he was, and they're just kind of pushing him off like any other reporter. Versus Danica Patrick was on the set, and it's bro, if you would have gave Danica Patrick up there. Like people in America know who she is. They would stop and talk to her. And I get that you want to have your guy, and like ESPN outsource the feed to Sky Sports because Sky Sports is like the main people who broadcast the English broadcast of Formula One. But I think next year you're going to see it change up a little bit because I would imagine that ESPN was probably not very pleased with what happened because, man, that guy, he was all over the place, man. He was asking people who they are and what they do, and like it was insane. He had like Dwayne Wade was literally right in front of him. Didn't even acknowledge him. I saw a couple other celebrities. He didn't even acknowledge them. It was hilarious.
Awkward with Serena.
Yeah, it was super awkward. Like, it was just hilarious. But overall, I think this whole event, it really opened my eyes to Formula One. You know, a couple days before the event, a week leading up to the event, to kind of get familiarized, I started watching obviously the big Netflix show Drive to Survive because I wanted to kind of familiarize myself with it, and people told me it was a good way to do it. So I started watching it leading up to it, and then I watched the whole race. I watched the qualifying. I watched everything, and I mean, the event was really cool. The tickets were really expensive, so I didn't get the chance to go, but it really opened my eyes to Formula One, and like I think they got a new fan in me. Like I'm actually really excited to see the next one. I want to see the next race in Barcelona, which is next week. And it's really interesting, crazy interesting storylines, learning about the teams and the different strategies and the things they use. It's really cool, and it's not nearly as long as NASCAR. NASCAR is like 250 laps or something like that, depending on the track. And I think this is a lot more condensed with 50 to 60 laps. It's a little bit more strategic. It's not so much it's more of a sprint than like a marathon compared to NASCAR. And I always liked the idea of racing, but it was just, I always kind of found it boring. But like, I think, watching this really opened my eyes. And now I'm actually really excited to keep on watching the season and see who wins. Red Bull, Max Verstappen got first place in the race. Ferrari, both racers got second and third, and then the second Red Bull racer got fourth place, and then the Mercedes team got fifth and sixth. So right now, Ferrari is leading the Constructors' Cup, and then also Leclerc is leading the standings in points. So it was really cool to see. And like the crazy thing is, people are saying that this was a boring race, and as for somebody to me like who's never really watched a race live before all the way through, if that was a boring race, I'm really excited to see what the future races are like. But Gabe, did you get a chance to watch it and check it out and see?
I did check in Saturday just to see they had like preliminary laps. Apparently, there was a lot of issues with the track itself, like the asphalt.
People had issues with the asphalt. Yeah,
it seemed like it was very smooth or not. Lots of sparks, like with cars going around. See, their exhaust hitting and sparks flying. And a lot of drivers.
Real quick, sparks is a normal thing. Sparks is a normal thing, so that's normal. You'll see that in everywhere. But there was problems that people had and like drivers had with the asphalt and like certain turns, like being kind of hard to see. But yeah, you're right on that part. But the sparks, that's a normal thing in F1.
And they were saying the asphalt. There's parts of it, and cars look a little bouncy. Usually cars look a little bouncy.
Mm-hmm.
I did check it in, and apparently, the Miami, because it was the first. I think it's the first time the United States ever had like a race.
No, dude, what are you right in your backyard, dude? No. Right in your backyard in Austin, the Circuit of Americas. They've been doing races in Austin every year for a few years now.
The first time, I guess the first.
Austin was like their one U.S. stop. Yeah. I think you're a little you're a little delayed right now, but yeah.
I'm delayed a lot right now. I was able to see some of it. I saw some of it. Even I checked it for a little bit. Fine, I guess they had a women's event as well. Where I guess they were all driving like the same engine, and big as well. So I checked it a little bit. I didn't like I said, I wasn't sitting down in front of the TV and watching it, but I did check in from time to time, and there's all the celebrities were out there. But a point in like, I don't know who the ambassador should be for the U.S., but I definitely think it should be. It's usually like because they had Sky Sports is a British
Yeah, Sky Sports is like
it's
the
like
British
the ESPN
ESPN.
for
Yeah,
UK,
and for a lot
and
of
so
English Europe. Yeah.
they're trying to get American audiences. ESPN ABC was like, who are you serving? Are you trying to serve your European audience, or are you trying to get the U.S. audience into racing? So I think that you bring up a good point saying they should be who's popular. I don't know. I don't know who are the racing. The top racing best, the easy celebrity. Everybody knows Danica Patrick.
Yeah, well, she was there too with the Sky Sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was there with the Sky Sports crew, and I was like, I get that you want to have because all the racing people, all the principals, and all the everybody who's involved in like the Formula One, they know who he is because he's a known reporter in that world. But like when you're trying to talk to like people who don't know who he was, it was just versus like maybe you could have had the both of them in tandem. That could have worked really well. But like I think you needed somebody if you wanted to like when he got on the track like that you need to have somebody who would stop, who people would want to stop for, and also know who people are. Like having that mistake of who Patrick Mahomes is just crazy. But I can also see why, like a lot of Europeans fans, seems like it's like the one thing Europeans fans make fun of Americans the most for is like how we kind of always make things into a show and a spectacle, and it kind of comes off fake. And I kind of get where they're coming from. Like you have all these celebrities here that don't know anybody except Lewis Hamilton. And like it did come off like people are more there for the spectacle than it is like the actual race itself. And I get the criticism there, but at the end of the day, that brings more money to Formula One and it grows the sport as a whole. Because as much as they don't like America, at the end of the day, it's a huge market that you want to tap into. But Gabe, does this mean you're gonna try to go to the race in Austin, the Circuit of Americas? I'm surprised you never heard of it. Like they don't make it a big deal out there.
Oh no, it's definitely a big ass deal. I know people. It's definitely a big ass deal. People, I think they even like race motorcycles and shit out there. And it's very kind of new into F1. Like I did peripherally, like it's not like I ever but I know like the tops. I tell you. Verstappen's the top. Hamilton is a top name. Baby Lando is a top name, and that's who I can't tell you who they drive.
Yeah,
for.
Right now,
like Ferrari, and I don't know. That's all I got.
And Lando Norris drives for McLaren. I think so. I've been, like the past couple of days, I've been trying to figure out like who's going to be my team, like who's going to root for. I'm trying to like figure it out and like. Because I want to root for somebody like I actually enjoy too, like as a person, and I think like McLaren is going to be like my team. One, I kind of fuck with the colors. I always liked McLaren cars as well, but I really like the drivers. I like the combination of like Lando Norris and the other driver. My God, Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo is an Australian guy. He seems just like a super down to earth, chill guy. Like I would like love to hang out with him one day, and like just for that, like he makes me want to root for them. Like he just seems like a guy you just want to root for. Like like you come across some of those guys that you just, I like that guy, and so I think McLaren's going to be the team I root for. Plus, I'm one of those people, I don't like rooting for like the best team all the time. And I know Red Bull's like hot right now. So I don't, and Ferrari is too. Ferrari's leading the way. So like, I don't want to come off like a bandwagoner and like start rooting for Ferrari and like Mercedes. And like, even though McLaren's obviously a top team and they do win races but this year they look like they're not really on track to win the championship. But I don't know. I like rooting for those middle of the pack guys. Everything feels a little bit more meaningful. It doesn't feel like I expect to win, I think that's just like the masochist in me, always rooting for teams that suck.
Let me ask, because they break up like the cups or the awards that they give to win, right? But then also the driver can win individually. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
Also, the drivers get points. So like that to me is a little confusing. I don't know how much do like because I'm looking at them like the top drivers. They have Leclerc, Verstappen. Who we got? Lewis Hamilton's like apparently number 6. He has got 36 points. Bottas is another name I've heard of, number 8. I heard some of the names. Vettel. How does like the awards like? So they have. And also looking at the schedule, they have all these. Like, what is like the final? Like, what is the playoffs? Long run, kind of like soccer. We get points accumulated over a season, like over a year, wherever 2022, 2023. You get points, and then you get awarded. Like, what's the final race?
Yeah. So there's no.
I don't know how much do you know.
Like, there's no playoffs. So playoffs, mind you, is an American thing. So playoffs is an American concept. It's to dramatize the event. Europeans, it's a point battle. It's a point race. So yeah, it's like whoever gets the most points at the end of the season wins it. And then you get points for individual performances and your team performances. That you have the drivers, and then you have the Constructors' Cup. So that's why it's important to work as a team, because the idea is that you want your two racers getting as high as possible at each race, because from 1 to 10, obviously first you get the most points, 10 you get the least amount of points, and then 10 to 20 or 11 to 20 you get 0 points. So it's very important to get into that top 10. So like it's not even like always about like getting first. It can mean like even like that 5th to 6th battle can mean a lot, because like determines your positioning.
You can knock off other
also
people.
Determines the amount of money you win.
You can knock off your other people.
Well, also determines the amount of money you win too at the end of the season. So like getting no points in the constructors race, so like basically, which is possible. So like the bottom tier teams, like a Williams, for example, they can get no points in a season at all. They can have no racer that got into the top 10, and that's entirely impossible. And now what happens, you don't get a lot of money. So so it's like you still want to, it's not like, oh, if I don't win the top 3, it's like, what's the point? The idea is like you still want to get as many points as possible, because that means more money for the brand. It grows your branding. Obviously when contracts end, you want to like go up and try to go for a more high performing like team that's like a Mercedes or like a McLaren or like a Red Bull or like a Ferrari. But it's a point race, and yet you'll strategically use somebody to like get it. So like if somebody's leading the way, you want to prioritize that person up front. So like for example, like Verstappen and Perez, they're going to prioritize Verstappen. Verstappen's going to have the slightly better car. Verstappen's going to be the lead man because he's leading in points for Red Bull. And the idea is Perez is just to be the support guy and kind of like, so if he's in second, so say Verstappen's in first, and then you're Perez in P2, Perez's job is defend to make sure people don't get past him and just let Verstappen just drive ahead and just get that lead. So your teammate is going to kind of, and it all really depends on like where you are in the standings, because the idea is at the end of the day, you rather have that one driver win than the whole shebang. You rather get one driver get higher placing in the whole thing versus having like him getting brought down because
you try to compete against your teammate.
You know what I mean? You got to like, not really competing against your teammate. You want to work with your teammate. You don't want to be competing against your teammate. You want to like have kind of, the idea is to have like these kind of roles. Like, all right, like once races get started and settled in, like after a couple races, you start to get an idea of like, all right, he's going to be our lead guy. Verstappen's going to be our lead guy. We're going to be supporting him. So his teammate's job is to make sure that he helps and also tries to place high on the pole position so he can, also get points as well. It's really cool. And I like seeing the aspects of it. And then that's just the race. The qualifying is just as interesting as well, too. The qualifying is like half of the drama.
It seems like you can't pick really, you want to pick, you have an American driver. I mean, I'm an American guy or whatever. It seems like you got to root for, you got to pick, kind of picking the team is worse in the team. Like if I pick the Miami Heat, I'm going to root for them. to go all the way. I'm rooting for all the guys on there. So like picking the drivers, right? McLaren and whatever BMW sponsors there are for these cars. So that's like, I guess.
Well, these aren't even sponsors. These are the people that make it. Like these aren't like, it's not like NASCAR where they're sponsors. Like Mercedes, like that is a Mercedes engine. That is a Mercedes engineer team making that, designing that car specifically. And that's why it's called like the Constructors Cup, because they're specifically making it. Or like Red Bull is Honda, like Red Bull Honda's the one, like they're doing it. Ferrari, they're the ones actually making it. So that's the other interesting part of it too.
It seems interesting. I mean, I'm definitely gonna look out, especially living here in Austin. They're gonna be more races. I think they're trying to make the thing in Miami Grand Prix a regular thing, and like they actually constructed things there. Like it's like actual concrete. It's not they're gonna exist there for.
Yeah, it's a 10-year contract. Yeah, I believe it's like a 10-year contract. So that's going to be there for at least the next 10 years. And then next year, it's going to be the third track in the U.S., which some people abroad are a little upset about. And that's going to be in Vegas. And that's going to be a street circuit. So that's going to be like, I'm pretty sure it's going to be going like down the strip of Vegas and like through the actual street. It's not going to be like a custom built track, from what I understand. Obviously, parts of it are. But yeah, it's a cool sport, and I think they got a new fan in me. And hopefully, maybe you check out the one in the Austin one. I think in like October or something. That'd be a cool experience.
Let's transition over to.
But let's transition.
Yeah.
This delay is killing us. All right, so NHL playoffs. So obviously, me and Gabe got the Panthers. Me, I got an official hat. Gabe's got his makeshift, custom made Panthers jersey. He's kind of hard to see because he's skipping right now. It's official merch, Gabe merch. That's official Real Fans podcast merch. I don't know if you can see it once he kind of stays still. Yeah, the Vibin' Panther with the D like into the bottom of the badge. But last night had a crazy game. I thought the Panther was done for sure. Like I was like, fuck, we're about to go to Washington down 3-2 in the series. And then the Panthers pulled through in the second period, scoring 3 unanswered in the second period. Either 3 or 4 unanswered in the second period to tie the game up. And then they score another 2. So that goes 5 unanswered, and they end up winning the game. What an amazing comeback. The comeback Cats. I was a little afraid of the President's Trophy curse. This is the first time the Florida Panthers have led in a playoff series since 2012. And there's nothing more disappointing than seeing such a great regular season, winning the President's Trophy, just to like completely just bomb in the playoffs, losing in the first round. But hopefully they can go to Washington and win it. This whole series it's honestly been a great series to watch. This has been super high scoring games. But Gabe, what do you think they're going to close it out in Game 6 in Washington, or you think it's going to go to Game 7?
Here's the thing. Predicting about this series is going to be probably a 7-game series. And the biggest hurdle that Florida has is like, this is experiencing. This is a team that like won in the playoffs before. They've won the cup before. And, the Florida Panthers barely, their last appearance was in the Panthers. Went on to win the cup. So they're playing like, this team right here, this Capitals team, Ovechkin's one of them, instant Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And what the thing about yesterday was like one of the toughest is quick goals, especially after a team scores and then like a minute or two later they score again. That's like devastating. 2 goals very quick, like in rapid succession. When you're already down, they were already down 1 and they scored 2 quick goals. But you know what? The thing about the Panthers, if you haven't watched them all season, is 2 goals to go down 2 goals. That's nothing. Like the Panthers, if you go down 2 goals against the Panthers, 2 goals, the Panthers have you exactly where they want you, because one is come back late. They call them the cardiac cats for a reason. The comeback cats, whatever. Because this team can
scoring.
Yeah. So, uh, you know, crazy. It was just a crazy game. Like it's just kind of insane for them to push it to overtime like that and come back have the final goal scored by Giroud, which is the guy we traded for this season. He's been pretty good for us. Uh, Excellent teammate. So I, as far as the series overall, I think this game going into Washington is going to be tough as hell. I think this is a 7-game series, and the Cats have home advantage. I think they win and get. I think this goes to Game 7, and the Cats bring back. The Cats will surpass the Capitals. I hope. I'm trying to hope. I'm all the way, man. I'm all the way, Cats. For the Cats all the way. As I want to face Tampa again. I want that revenge game. So, but I don't think they do it. I think, home ice advantage is a thing. And I think it goes to Game 7. They bring it back to, and they win in the FLA. That's my prediction.
I will say too. We talked about just Game 5, but Game 4, man, that was a bunch. That was a butt clincher. Like that. That game was Panthers tie the game up late in the second period. I mean, the third period, then go into overtime, and then get the game-winning goal in overtime to tie up the series. That game was probably more crucial than the Washington game last night, because that game, man, if they would have went down 3-1, oh, that would have been a heart wrench. Like that, like I don't know how you come back from that. But they were able to squeeze out that win away to tie the series back up and get home ice advantage again, and then continue to have the home ice advantage winning last night. I think they could, like I said, I think they could win at Washington. They already have. I think it's definitely possible to do it again. They're riding high right now. But I'm kind of with you. I see it going in Game 7. I think Washington's going to bounce back in Game 6, and it's going to go to Game 7 to Washington. But man, this has been a thrilling series so far. There's only been one sweep in the NHL playoffs, and that was Colorado versus Nashville. But yeah, I've also been watching the Maple Leafs and Tampa series, because the winner of that goes to play the winner of the Florida series. And Tampa's down 3-2 in the series, but I'm kind of rooting for Tampa. And obviously, I hate Tampa; they're our rivals. But I'm kind of low key rooting for them just so we can face them in the second round to get payback.
I want that, man. So here's the thing, Julian. I said about the NBA. You were like all scared. We're talking about, you were in the Heat jersey. You were scared of the Nets. You want the Heat Nets. You were scared of them.
I was not scared of the Nets. You don't want to JoJo was scared of the Nets.
Here's the thing, man. I've always been, listen, if you're the best team, I want to play you. I want to face you, because eventually I'm going to have to play you and face you. So I'm getting knocked out the first round because that's when we're probably the healthiest. We have all our players because, injuries in the playoffs happen. I want to play the best team. And I want to see Tampa. Tampa is what I want to see them. I want to play Tampa. I hope they win. And then I hope that we win. So I hope we get to another matchup. So I hope that I do want to face Tampa again. They are in-state rivals. But Washington, they're equally as powerful, equally as like I said, this is not an easy series, but I do hope we make it through. And I want Tampa. My championship is beating the Tampa Bay.
Bro, everything's Game 6. Everybody's going to Game 6. If they beat the Tampa Bay Lightning in the second, that's me. One of the funniest everything's things is Game 6 tomorrow.
If there's a Game 7, if it goes to Game 7, it's going to be on Sunday, which also the Heat could possibly play on Game 7 and Sunday as well. So exciting sports, in Miami, in South Beach. Yeah. Not South Beach. We know where the arena is.
Yeah, I'm also hoping for the Panthers to make the second round, because I'm waiting to go to a game in the second round, because my buddy's coming down next weekend. And right when he comes down, this should be this Game 2. If they were to make it to the second round, it should be Game 2. So I'm hoping it's a Florida Panthers, Tampa. Like that just be awesome. I want to see that again. And like I said, I want my revenge. I think they can do it. Cats need to break that President's Trophies curse. They need to go all the way, man. You can't have this good, one of the high-powered offenses in the league. You can't lose in the first round to Washington. You just can't. But Tampa's got an uphill battle because
Well,
they don't have home ice. Toronto does, so they're going to Tampa tonight. But then Game 7 is going to be in Toronto, so it's going to be an uphill battle for them.
like hits the bed tonight. Put the kiss. We'll see. We're definitely following. I'm definitely following the Panthers. I'm watching it as much as I can. Of other playoff news, I mean, we transition over to NBA playoffs. We talked last week about the Miami Heat. I've always been a Heat guy, Heat in 5, but it seems like we're going to the Game 6. We're gonna have to go travel. Miami's gonna have to travel to Philly. Overall, what you've seen of the series, Julian, and what do you think of the series so far? And how do you think the Heat are performing going forward?
Bro, man, the Joel Embiid is a game changer for that team. Like broken nose and all. He's like, I think just even the morale of the team, like everything about that team just seemed so rejuvenated when he was back on the court for Game 5. The Heat, they were really close. Was it Game 5? What am I thinking of? Yeah, Game 5.
He came back in Game 3 and 4. He's come back.
What is the one I'm thinking of where the Heat had it really close and they were missing? It's a Game 4. I think it was Game 4 actually. Yeah, it is Game 4. What am I talking about? Game 4 is when he came back. And the Heat had it so close, but they were like 5 from 30 from the 3-point line that game, and they just couldn't make anything. And then James Harden was just knocking down threes left and right in that fourth quarter to just close out that game and tie up the series. So that was heart-wrenching because I'm like, fuck, now they're going to have to like at least go in 6 because I was hoping they can get that win because they were closing the gap on the lead. But yeah, man, Joel Embiid is, when he's on the court, he's just a difference maker. It's somebody that like, it's now because without him, Bam was just free to do whatever he wanted. Like he literally was. But now with Embiid on the court, you're going to have that big man battle in the paint, and it makes it really interesting. And but yeah, like with that all being said, I think the Heat are going to put the Sixers to bed tonight. I think it's going to close it out in Game 6. I think they're going to go to Philly. They put up a fucking mollywhopping to them in Miami. I think they won by 30 points, 20 points.
Yeah.
35, 30 points. I think it was like 30. It was like 125 to like 90, right? Or something like that. So yeah, man, the Heat are rolling. I think they had a little hiccup, not expecting Joel Embiid to come back last second, and I believe Lowry's playing tonight as well.
No, it's already.
He's out again.
He's out. He's out for Game 6. Lowry will not play tonight in Philly.
Just let him rest till the next series. I don't think you need him to beat the Sixers. Just let him rest. I don't need him for Game 6 or 7 if it goes to 7. But I think I think they could close it out here, man. I think they had a little hiccup in Philly. I think the Joel Embiid coming back last minute kind of threw him off. But yeah, man, I think they close it out here.
Wish they would close it out. I think they have the ability to. But I think 76ers, obviously, this is like, do or die. Back against the wall. What are you going to do? They definitely have the capability. Sixers are that deep. I think one thing that they did and it was 120 to 85 win, is they shut down Joel Embiid. They didn't let him get, in position to score. If Embiid has the ball, usually he's going to score. And what they did a good job of was boxing him out of just making him fight. And obviously, he had a re-injury of his face. Deadman, there was a rebound. Embiid caught it. Deadman smacked him in the face. He went down in pain, horrible pain. And kind of, after that, Embiid kind of disappeared. So Embiid hasn't been playing to his averages. He's been, decent. He's put up 17 points, 20 points. He's been decent, but he hasn't been playing to superstar level. That face injury is keeping them out of games.
And that's what I was saying, that that's what I was saying. Like those first two home game or that game 4, like when he came back, like in game 3, like that was just like big for them, just like from a morale standpoint. And now with him being hurt again, it's just like, yeah. And when he became a non-factor, you saw the Heat just like absolutely take over the rest of the game.
Not that we're hard, like it's. I mean, trying to play basketball, especially with an injury like that, like I understand why he's playing tentatively and 100%, but that team is not very deep, and than 100% of whoever the hell is on their bench, and like it's one of the things, and that's the thing with this, like, who's the healthiest, who's playing in a rhythm. Um, those are teams that usually generally go deeper into the playoffs. If you're healthy, if you have all your players and all your starters playing in rhythm,
and you're deep,
the bench shortens, so you play your best players more, and you hope that they're shooting. Now, with that being said, I don't think Miami's been playing extraordinarily. You mentioned earlier about the shooting percentage they've been shooting way below normally what they shoot, especially from three. Defense is still kind of iffy, with the rotations they have. I think Victor Oladipo in general has been a liability. Like, I understand that Kyle Lowry is out. He's been the guy that we've been Victor Oladipo. But I think he's been a liability out there. Duncan Robinson has been sitting, which has also been a liability. He's a liability not only with his shooting, with his confidence shooting, but also defensively. He's a tall, long guy, but they usually attack. They usually attack at Duncan Robinson. He's been sitting. So I think we get out of the series. I hope they win Game 6. I don't think Game 6. I think it comes back to Miami. They win in 7. Because for 76ers, I think we're see. I think we're gonna see some cooking in it. I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy guy. I'm not telling you about the refs. Well, I think we get some cooking over here. They want to extend it. And NBA wants
I just thought that. Yeah, I just thought that last game was just so convincing to me, and I think they have a recipe of what they can do. And if it wasn't, I mean, because the thing is, even that game 4, like it was really close, and that was with them like being terrible from the 3-point line, and it was still close. If they could just clean that up and actually, hit their shots and get their field goal percentage up, they could win that game. Realistically, they're the better team, like you said. Joel Embiid, he's gonna be shooken up. Like, you should go in there and win that game. And the one thing that does kind of, and this is like from Tyler Hero's perspective, I don't know if you feel this way too, but it's like, I feel like he has a really hard time getting out of a funk mid-game. Because if he ain't hitting, he's not hitting for the rest of the game. That's the way I always kind of I feel about him. Or even like if he doesn't hit for like, there's sometimes he goes on a couple game sprees. I mean, but then when he's hot, he's like super hot. And I don't know why, but it just, I mean, I know why, but it just kind of frustrates me where I feel like he's a great player, but I feel like he just needs to get better just getting out of those funks. Like, you miss 3, man, you got to hit those other ones after that. Like, you just can't keep on breaking one after the other.
Yeah. And shout out to, I don't want to talk about, I'm talking about liabilities and Jimmy gave you a game last night. So, there's guys that have been playing, well. I mean, like I said, they 5 points. And so far, the wins have been pretty tremendous. But, yeah, I think Miami Heat, they make out of the series. Maybe tonight, but I don't. But yeah, maybe room for them. I'm not.
By the way, do you feel that same way? I was gonna say, do you feel that same way that I do about Tyler Hero? Like, just like when he just has a hard time getting out of it.
With him coming off the bench, he's definitely starting material. The future going forward, I feel like, oh my god, let me not tell you a shit I saw on Twitter. I saw some people talking about, let's trade Bradley Beal for Tyler Hero, to fucking mansion, Kim Kardashian. They're gonna trade Miami Heat, gonna trade everything for Bradley Beal, including Tyler. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
I will say, I think Bradley Beal would be a nice fit. I think for culture wise and like everything, I think he would fit nice.
it feels like for 5 years they've been talking about Bradley Beal. This guy's coming up at the end of his contract. I think for 2024. He's definitely on the last end of his career. But I think if he comes to Miami, it's going to be on the cheap. He's going to be a free agent. I don't think he's going to come. I don't think Miami's going to trade anything for Bradley Beal because Bradley Beal.
I don't think they're going to do it.
Free
but
agent.
I don't think they're going to do it. But he gives me like Heat culture vibe. I feel like he could slot in real quick. Obviously, he would be playing like. Doesn't he kind of play the same position as Jimmy Butler too? So it's like you're gonna have to like try to like balance that out.
Yeah, I don't think he's as good.
No.
And he's a lot older. Like they've been talking about like 7 years shit. Same thing with Victor Oladipo.
What a waste of a career, man. Finally
came over. So, anyways, as far as I feel about Tyler Hero is what the question you asked me. Tyler Hero, he's definitely the future developing the league on this team. I think he still has value. Maybe he's not playing good in the series, but hopefully they can close out the series and get some rest and look forward to the next game, which will probably be the Milwaukee Bucks. Transition to the other series that's going on. I don't know if you want to.
I'm be honest with you. I've not watched this series at all. I haven't seen a minute of this series because normally it's when the Panthers games are on. So I'd rather watch my Panthers instead of this game. But I see it's 3-2 with Milwaukee to the lead.
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting game last night. I think it was going back and forth. One of the closest games of the entire series. Obviously, the Bucks are down. Middleton is down with injury. They've been playing without Middleton, but it seems that like the Bucks are still dominating the Celtics. And these are, like I said, this is probably the best series to watch. Like this is like championship level series because these teams have really good players. Really, on both sides, they have guys you can root for. But it seems like the Celtics, especially after last night, the momentum has switched over to Milwaukee after last night. I don't know. Have you watched any of the series? You haven't watched any of the.
I haven't checked out that one at all. Like I said, it normally comes because it's the East Coast playoff game, and it's with the way the cycle is, it's coming at the same time as the Panthers, and it's just like I'd rather watch the Panthers game personally. So I haven't got a chance to peep it.
Well, based off so far, like it seems like the Bucks will come out of it. Pretty much devastating loss last night for the Celtics. I would want to see either team. Like either team would definitely worthy of. Personally, I would like to see the Celtics. I think the Celtics match up equally to the Miami Heat. But it seems like the Bucks are coming back. Back-to-back champions. I'll see whoever. I'll face whoever. I'll see whoever. I'll see any team. I'm not scared. I'm not scared of nobody. Nets freaking got bounced in the first round. Come on.
I'm not. I'm kind of with you. I'm not scared for the Heat. I think the Heat should go to the finals. Like I think they have the potential to win tonight, and then Boston or Milwaukee. I'd rather not face Milwaukee, but like you said, I don't know how long is Middleton out for. I mean, he's out for the rest of the season. I
got to double check on his injury.
I'm not sure. I know he's injured. I'm just not sure what it was and how long it was. But like, I mean, either way, I feel pretty good about facing either one of those teams. Like, I'm not terribly scared, and especially if Chris Middleton's not back by the next, because I see Milwaukee. I mean, Milwaukee's playing at home tomorrow. They won a game on the road, so they're playing at home. Game 6, like they could clean it up right there. So I'm anticipating a Heat Milwaukee rematch. That would be the third year in the row they play each other in the playoffs. Be the best out of 3 who comes out. Heat won in 2020. Bucks won in 2021. 2022 is the.
To answer your question, Chris Middleton, he had a grade 2 MCL, which is like a partial tear. It's not a complete tear. Grade 3 would be complete tear. It was a partial tear, and he's not expected for the Celtics series, and probably not for all the series. I'm seeing rumors that he's.
I think he's done.
Working through it, but yeah,
he's done. Pretty tough. Maybe like late playoff, like late finals if they make it that far. But I think MCL, bro, he's done. Like in a game like basketball where you cut a lot, nah.
So it reportedly will miss the conference finals, but who knows? Maybe they just inject him with some Tom Brady stem cells and he
Some avocado ice cream
regenerates. Yeah, you put some cream in clear, and then probably not expected for the rest of the season. Probably with a grade 2 MCL. That was just to answer your question. All right, what else is going on in the playoffs? Can we talk about some other teams
at
on the West Coast?
The West Coast. So Phoenix and Dallas, we start off with, getting a little heated over there. It's coming like a little mini rivalry. Honestly, Dallas is playing a lot better than I thought. I thought Dallas would be out in 5, but they're holding true. They're playing tonight. They might tie the series. They might send it to Game 7. They just might. And to me, that's a win in Dallas's book. Like if I was a Dallas fan, if I was able to take the Suns to 7 in the second round, I think that's a plus. Like I would take that. Like I think you're overachieving against a really good Suns team. Chris Paul's been non-existent essentially this whole playoffs, but the Suns are still like we mentioned, same thing with the Heat. They're just really deep. Like anybody can go in there and play. It's not like you need Chris Paul to be there. But yeah, man, I think Dallas is punching above their weight class for sure.
Yeah, with the Suns teams, I feel like this is kind of like a make it or break it, right? Obviously, they went deep last year to the playoffs. They didn't get over that hump, and like I'm not saying that the Suns are gassed out. It's just they're struggling against a Dallas team that when I go into this game, I didn't think Dallas would even push it like this. Push
I like Game 5
this bad. Yeah. Because I thought Dallas was barely, they're barely a playoff team. But they seem to be playing well. Luka is, still an exciting player to watch. And he's one of the best players on our team. And it's looking like, Dallas is, they're competing. They're being competitive. Like I didn't expect much of Dallas going into the playoffs, but they're pushing the Suns. And like you said, Chris Paul been non-existent. I think their best player is Devin Booker. Which a lot of rumors about Devin Booker. Probably, I don't know if he's. I don't know. I need to look up his contract. I heard that he might leave. They're talking about him and the Knicks. So this, I don't know.
No, don't head to the Knicks. Anywhere but in the Knicks.
So
anyway,
this series, I expected the Suns to show out again, and we'll see, man. If they play tonight. We'll definitely be watching that, and we'll talk about it next week. Going forward, but who do you see is coming out of this series, Julian? Just let's.
I mean, Phoenix should win. They should win, but I think it's going to Game 7. I could totally see Dallas winning tonight at home, but Phoenix is they're just the better team. They just have more firepower. Who knows? Maybe Chris Paul can reignite and just like become like how he was last year. But they're just the better team. Like they should continue to advance. Phoenix should go to the finals again, realistically, in my opinion. Like they're just, to me, they're just the overall better team in the West. Obviously, I think they had the best record in the league this year. But if I was a Dallas fan, I'd be happy for my team to even make it this far. Get that man Luka some help. Send D-Book to Dallas.
D-Book to Dallas. Yeah. So let's
all talk about open up that checkbook.
Oh yeah, open that checkbook. All the zeros. Let's talk about the last series. Memphis Grizzlies at Golden State Warriors, or versus Golden State Warriors. They'll be playing Friday, Game 6. Right now, Golden State leads the series 3-2. Have you seen any of the highlights? Any games from this series?
This series I haven't got to check out. Either, like I said, because like I watched basketball when the Heat games play, so I watched the Suns. I watched a little bit of the Suns of Dallas series, and I've been watching obviously the Heat games. But then like the following week, I've been watching hockey. Like so I've been alternating, so I haven't get the chance to watch like any of those the Milwaukee and the Memphis games. But yeah, I heard it's been crazy. I've heard it's been pretty feisty as well.
Been tight, a little chippy.
A little feisty, man.
But as far as I've seen, especially the last game, Memphis was playing, down with their backs against the wall. I think the series was 3-1, and Memphis had their blowout game. They scored 142 points or something. Kind of embarrassing. 142 to like 90.
That's
90.
That's like all-star points, dude. Like that's ridiculous.
134 to 95. Yeah,
I did see that. That's no excuse. No NBA team should ever allow another team to drop 130 points. That is absolute. I don't care what era we're in. That is absurd. Like 100,
and then hold them to under 100. I mean, that's pretty crazy, especially with this Golden State Warriors team. We know still lights out, still shooting. This is Golden State Warriors 2.0. So yeah, I think Memphis is kind of, Golden State Warriors I still think are an overwhelming team. I think the Grizzlies, although I am rooting for them as being the underdogs, and I do like Ja Morant. I think he's an exciting player. I think they're just outgunned. I think they're outgunned against the Golden State Warriors. I don't think that Memphis makes it out of here. I think Golden State, they pull out. They're expected winners of the series. And
at home, Game 6.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. They're up 3-2, so they have the home field advantage, home court. I kind of expect Golden State to pull it out.
I've been saying too, like San Francisco, that arena, bro, that is a fortress. Good luck trying to win there. Like that. So all Golden State needed to do was take one away from Memphis, and now they got home court advantage. Like going to Game 6 at home with the series lead, like you got to win at Golden State. That's going to be tough. That is a tall task to ask for. But I'm kind of looking at the previous games too. I mean, outside of Game 3, Golden State dropped 142, which is ridiculous. The past few games have been a little bit low scoring at 101. Like you said, 95. I'm missing the other one. I can't find it. But yeah, I mean, outside of that ridiculous 142 point game, like the series has been insane. Like just from like the outside looking at it, like I haven't really been watching it, but just like looking at the box scores in the final and the highlights and stuff. Like it's like one moment you see like teams put up ridiculous amount of points, and then next it's like sub 100. Like
yeah. And again, Memphis is going to be traveling to the West Coast. They're going to get that jet lag. I think they're punching above their weight class. So Grizzlies, I do like you. I root for you, but I don't think it's in the cards this year. I don't think it's in the cards. But you had an exciting season. You had a winning season. You had an exciting little player. You make a deep run into the playoffs.
Mind you, this is crazy that this is like a number 2 team that like they're going to lose in Game 6. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty wild to see it in the second round. I
think overall successful. You can't say a wash. Like it's pretty successful. You had a decent season, nice little season. From where the Grizzlies were like 2-3 years ago to like now, y'all doing okay.
They're growing. Improving. They're growing. They got names.
And we also have names. My name is Gabe. That's Julian. I think that's it for the episode. I mean, next week we'll be talking about more. Hopefully we'll have JoJo on here. We'll talk about some baseball going on. Obviously, we're still going to cover NHL, NBA, NFL, because the NFL is still going to be making those. We'll talk about the schedules. But Julian, tell the people where they can find all our things.
You can find us, your favorite place to get podcasts, wherever that might be. We are there. And be sure to follow and leave a review if you're on Apple. Wherever you are, you know what to do. Help grow the podcast. We're doing what we do. Episode 50. This is a pretty monumental episode. Hopefully the next 50 we make it and grow. So yeah, on to the next one. On to the next 50, right, Gabe?
Downloading, subscribing, watching us on YouTube. Appreciate all the fans, Real Fans Podcast. Thank you. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.